Okay, I'm back. As I was saying, you're having this interaction with someone, and they're seemingly stuck or bound by this particular challenge that they're in the middle of, and just by sheer you looking at them but not being drawn into their perception of this reality, which is limiting their ability to surround it or move past it and connect directly with their spirit and their power. um, they see that reflected in you, and they're able to become aware of that themselves and are able to tap into that power themselves and are able to correct their own problem. And vice versa. There's been others who, when I was in these places where I felt powerless or totally worried or helpless or hopeless, someone would interact with me and connect with my spirit and my power and reflect that back to me. And I saw that and experienced, I was able to connect with that myself and to see beyond the problem from a powerful place and able to overcome that particular challenge or situation and resolve it. But it was how she described it that was the clearest that I've ever heard for me, or maybe it's just at a place where I really needed some clarity on that. And I am learning. It was been the other time that I went to Agape, I shared the story about the fisherman with the, and how big is your skillet or how big is your frying pan. And the value of stories, because we humans are visual creatures and we could see a story or relate to stories better than just talking. So I want to becoming more personal, more intimate, and as I share my different topics, to share my specific experience. I've been doing that, but sometimes I'll edit the personal aspect of it and be more general. So I'm going to be more specific from this point on because that's just more powerful. So, the other thing that she said, and I can maybe probably would do a whole post on this. Let me go and adjust my screen slightly, like so much time we have. Um, was she made a distinction between positive denial and negative denial, and I could kiss her for this. I usually prefer men, but I could kiss her for this. Um, as someone who's constantly growing and changing and shifting in thought and doing my own deliberate conscious programming and filtering through my existing programming and my perception of the world and how I experience it and keeping what works and getting rid of what doesn't. I've been in this transition mode where I've been learning to focus only on the positive and what I want. But what's always been a question in the back of my mind, what's often a question back in people's minds, are if you do that, then you're ignoring the negative because there we live in this dual universe. There's this duality. With every positive, there's a negative, and vice versa. And by ignoring the negative, you're not dealing with reality. And so she goes and makes a distinction, which for this one thought alone, my whole life is different from this point on. And that's positive denial and negative denial. And she says the negative denial is to look at the negative aspects of our experience, the suffering, the war, the poverty, the inequalities, the injustice, all the negative that exist in our human experience, and to look at it and to ignore it as though it doesn't exist when it's quite real, and it obviously does, is negative denial. To this being delusional. She also called us some other interesting things. Anyway, you gotta listen to this talk. I'm telling y'all, www.agapelive.com, okay? But then she goes and says that what positive denial is is to go and acknowledge this negative, as you know, aspect of the human experience, whether it's in our own lives or in just the general human situation, and to acknowledge it, but not to dwell and focus on it, and to not be bound by it. Because when you're bound by it, all you see is the suffering, and you can't see beyond it, can't see past it, and you are placing yourself under that power. But if you look at it, you acknowledge it, but you see through it to what it is, the reality that you want to see, then you're able to surmount that particular experience, tap into your power, and be able to do whatever you are supposed to or feel compelled to contribute to correcting that particular problem or challenge or issue or negative happening. And once again, I don't know if that's clear for y'all. I'm sure I didn't say as well as she did, but it was, the light went on for me, because I'm like, I've always been very in tune with suffering within my own life, and then my dedication to do whatever I could to alleviate that in others, and really assisting myself, and through my process assisting others, and really tapping into reconnecting with their freedom and their power. And as different things would happen and occur, and the things I used to really dwell upon and that would make me feel hopeless and powerless, I stopped focusing on those things, because they would take me off my path and lower my energy and suck me back into that whole mindset. But I still didn't feel totally comfortable with that, because I felt on some level that I was ignoring the reality of the situation and abandoning whatever commitment I felt to alleviating that suffering. And so I'm putting the different pieces of the puzzle together, this new understanding that's emerging. But essentially, when you focus on, say for instance, the situation of the earthquake and the total devastation in Haiti, and you were to only see this is a country that has been punished and penalized for ever since its inception, has never been allowed to be autonomous, self-governing country, that it was allowed to, every time, whether it was a positive leader or a positive situation that emerged where it could truly become self-sustaining, self-sufficient, and able to support the interests and needs of its people, you had all these other outside influences, these powers that be, that interfered and prevented that from happening. Whether it's internally supported by Haitians, the Haitian leaders themselves, or externally by European colonial powers like the United States. Well, it's not European, white colonial powers. United States, France, other countries, and now we have the multinational corporations. But in looking at that, by perceiving it just as a situation where I'm hopeless and that I'm powerless, and then just identifying as a fellow victim to this existing power structure, I deny and negate my power, and I don't tap into my ability to transform this situation. But if I look at it, am anchored by it, am motivated by it, whatever it is that it brings up, and I see the reality that I would like to create, or the opportunity for this particular country just to have the opportunity to, do what's right and what's best for its people without outside interference, it allows me to surmount the problem. I'm able to tap into the infinite power of the universe, ignite that power within myself, and attract and magnetize the possibilities wherever I can to influence that to occur and create that reality. And that's what I've been learning how to do, but I wasn't quite how to go about it. But now it's so clear. It is so clear. And she talks about the value of suffering, the value of quote unquote darkness, how it is so essential in order to experience light. You must experience darkness, and it's just as important, an important part of this whole puzzle or this whole piece. And I don't know. I just feel like now everything in my life as far as it just makes sense. And so I could look at my own experiences. I could look at my ability to connect with others and see their spirit and see their power as opposed to getting sucked into their hallucination, their experience of 3D reality. And then whenever I get stuck in my hallucination, I could go and snap out of it, reconnect with my spirit, and operate from that level and do that more and more and more to the point where sooner or later that become my primary mode of operation. So that being said, it's like, man, um, now's the time to unleash the magnificence of your own power, to truly be aligned fully with your spirit and with this infinite power that you have, and to operate from that place. And then when you do that, when you look at your everyday life and experience, all these different little challenges that come up, they're already solved once you get to that awareness. And then in the physical, may have a certain time lag when it takes for them to resolve themselves, but ultimately they are. And that's even more liberating to me, because that's what it's all about. Being human is about being free, relearning how to do that. And in the journey of doing that, that's where the fun is. So on that note, y'all, come on. It's time to tap into and unleash the magnificence of our power. And yeah, that is not a challenge. It's I command you. No. So if you want to be unleashed, that's where it's at. Okay? So once again, I mean, you got to hear Marianne Williamson speak, www.agavelive.com. And until tomorrow, who knows what wonderful, delicious, sizzling hot topic I'll do after I come back from my sunrise hike. But it shall be interesting, I promise. So on that note, I wish you a lovely, amazing, amazing week. No more of this dreading Mondays because you gotta go to work, go to a job that is not fulfilling to you, but you just have to do it to survive. How about just deciding that from this point on, you're going to do more than survive? You'll prosper, and you'll trust that the means and the opportunity to do that will be revealed to you. And start right there. So yes, so look forward to the beginning of this week. It's another opportunity, it's another chance for all of us. On that note, sweet dreams. May the angels guide you as you travel the astral plane. Go and ask your angels for something, for insight, to come to you, for protection. Most importantly, they're the perfect beings for assistance because that's what they enjoy doing. And yeah, they're here for us. So on that note, I love y'all. And here's to unleashing the magnificence of our power. Peace.